SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
SportsBeat is live. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, my mother-in-law, my wife Jenny, and all you wonderful mothers out there. You are loved and appreciated. JJ and Sam with you for the next 45 minutes on day 59 of No Live Sports. We're surviving. As Michael Jordan highlights Flood Media, once again, we're taking a look at his pre-finals history with the Utah Jazz tonight. Yeah, also KSL's own Scott Mitchell joins us. He shares some great stories about his first NFL coach, the late Don Shula, but we'll get to that in a little bit. First, though, even though it has been 8+ weeks since the Jazz were last on the basketball court, we may be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. The Jazz expected to open team facilities this week for individually socially distanced workouts. So does this mean we're going to have the season resume anytime soon? Well, Commissioner Adam Silver spoke with players on a conference call on Friday and said the league doesn't need to make a decision on the season this month or even right away in June. He did say all team owners are on board with a return to finish out this season, though. Jazz Vice President of Basketball Operations Dennis Lindsay was on a conference call with media earlier in the week, saying the team is busy working on a number of things while they wait for the season to resume, including the draft. But what does he think about if and when the season will resume?
It's overlaid simply by can we come back safely? If the health permits, then let's try to come back. I'm all for naming a champion, even if it's a truncated champion. You want to compete and name a champion. I do also think that if we are able to recapture even a very truncated piece of the season, it allows us to look at potential ramp-ups for 2021. I think there will be some things that we could learn, but obviously I would defer all of those opinions to the league, most importantly, and that's all going to be predicated by data and health, not what Dennis or anybody else personally thinks we should do.
Lindsay also said that he believes Rudy Gobert's positive test for COVID-19 saved lives, bringing light to just how contagious this illness is. But it also exposed a rift between Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, who also tested positive. Even with all those stories circulating throughout the media, Lindsay says he believes his two stars are ready to move on and work together to win ball games.
They're ready to put this behind them, move forward, act professionally. Look, the COVID-19 night of March 12th was really unprecedented. It brought a microscope to our team, and we get it. With that said, we're very pleased with the collective makeup of our group, Donovan and Rudy in particular, and we look forward to moving forward. And they've said their piece to each other. I think at the end of the day, Donovan and Rudy, I don't want to speak for them on every matter. They'll speak for themselves moving forward. But I think at the most basic level, they know they need each other to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish as being the last team standing in the NBA.
Go down the side. They do. Stock's got it. He's got running room. Stockton, grab, hang it up. It's good. It's good. The Jazz win it. The Jazz win it. I can't believe it. The Jazz win it. An unbelievable finish. John Stockton, Calvin layup. Can you believe it? The most incredible finish I have ever seen in my life. Incredible. John Stockton, a breakaway.
During this time when we're starving for sports content, The Last Dance has become must-see TV each Sunday. The 10-part documentary on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls dynasty has been phenomenal. And of course, the Utah Jazz are a part of that history. So we are digging into the KSL Sports Archive, and to see so many great battles over the years between the Jazz and Bulls, we're bringing them to you right now. Tonight, the early 90s. Starting off in Salt Lake City on November 12th, 1990, first quarter, Jordan with the steal and gets extra fancy behind the back, lays it up and in. He was feeling creative all night long. The circus shot goes down. It looked like the Jazz would have a 2-point lead after 1 quarter, but right after Blue Edwards sinks a free throw, Will Perdue chucks it to Jordan, touch pass to Stacey King with 1.6 seconds left to tie it up. Then it got crazy.
They got beat on the plate. Jordan steals, put it up, three-pointer. He made it at the buzzer. He made it. It counts. Incredible. The Jazz give up 5 points in 4 seconds of play.
Second quarter, the Jazz trying to get the transition game going. Jordan chases down Stockton for the block. That quickly leads to a Bulls transition opportunity. Jordan to King for the dunk. Stockton ended up with 13 points in the game. Here's 3 the hard way. He also had 14 assists. One of the best in the game right here. Whips it to Jeff Malone for an easy layup. And remember that spin move earlier by Jordan. This time, Mark Eaton the victim. It's not easy to get around Big Mark. The mailman wakes up the crowd, though.
He'll lead it to Delaney Rudd. Jazz on a run. Left side of the mailman. Hammered up.
Mailman, 28 points, 19 rebounds, 2 assists. This one, a fastball to Jeff Malone for 2. The game was tied at 82 in the final 30 seconds. Jazz have a shot to take the lead. And Stockton splits the defenders with the pass to Malone, but Malone can't convert. The Bulls get the ball back with 15 seconds left, and it's no secret who's going to get the final shot.
5 seconds. Left side of Pippen. They want to go to Jordan. They got him. 2 seconds. Jordan. Left side. 20-footer. Good. Good. The game is over. Chicago wins it. Michael Jordan. Incredible shot.
Painful. A year after Stockton's last-second heroics, Jordan knocks the wind out of the arena for the 84-82 win. The final game Jordan would play in the old Salt Palace. 4 months later, the Jazz were in Chicago, the old home of Jerry Sloan. It was another close contest and another look at the jersey in the rafters of Jerry Sloan. Jeff Malone blocked by Scotty. Bulls on the run. Pippen to Jordan. You know how that ends. Jazz with the ball next. Pick and roll. Stockton. Big Mark Eaton for the hammer. 11 points, 16 rebounds for the big man. Jazz led by 5 at the half. They kept building that lead in the third quarter. The mailman up and under for the layup. They led by 7 after 3 quarters. The Bulls not fading yet. Jordan, the bucket and 1. But upon further review, looks like a little MJ magic with the push-off there. Any advantage you can get, just saying. This time Jordan beats everyone down the baseline for the dunk. The Jazz lead was gone. The mailman trying to keep pace with Jordan.
Jeff clears out. Crowd across the middle, left to right. Slammed up. Counted these fouls. The mailman. Foul, Horace Grant.
Karl Malone with a dustbuster. John Stockton loving it. Jazz trailing by 3 late in the game. Jordan with a chance for the dagger. And, of course, he hits. 37 for MJ. Karl led the Jazz with 19. Jazz 0-2 against Jordan and the Bulls in that 1990-91 season. Of course, that was a championship year for the Bulls. In 91-92, the Jazz first met the Bulls in Chicago in January. There's that championship banner in the rafters. Start of the second half, the Jazz had a 2-point lead, 50-48. Jeff Malone played lights out, mid-range jumper. Then Jeff Malone for the off-balance shot. He would finish the game with 16. Stockton had 15 assists, but surprise, surprise, Michael did Michael things. Hits the jumper over Jeff Malone. The Bulls climbing back into the lead. Then in the fourth quarter, the turnaround jumper is money. Another from the free throw line. Michael finished with 37 points, 5 rebounds, bringing the Bulls back to beat the Jazz by 15.
Well, earlier that season, the Jazz had opened their brand new arena, the Delta Center, and the team experienced instant home court advantage, losing only 4 games there all season. And when the world champion Bulls came to town on February 3rd, they got everything they could handle from the crowd and the Jazz 2 all-star players. The Jazz were running early and often in the first half. How about Big Mark Eaton on the rebound, the outlet to Stockton, ahead to David Benoit. He's flying high for the dunk. Buckets didn't come easy early for Jordan, blocked by Eaton. Then the Jazz go on the run the other way. Stockton takes it for the layup. Jazz led by 5 at the half. The Jazz defense got things going in the second half.
Just knocks it away. Picked up by Stockton. Knocks it down the left side. Cross court to the mailman. Hammer down. Oh, baby. You know they love it.
The most emphatic of Carl's 34 points right there. He also was a monster on the glass with 21 boards, but the Bulls outscored the Jazz by 7 in the fourth quarter. Jordan to the hoop, blocked by Stockton, but Will Perdue there for the putback and the foul. In the final minute, Jazz are down 2. Stockton's reverse layup coming baseline ties the game at 89. Under 10 seconds to go. It's still tied. Stockton uncharacteristically throws this ball away, so the Bulls will have the last shot in regulation. Michael Jordan, a chance for the win. Look what happens here. He misses. Yeah, he's human. We're going to overtime. He rarely misses twice, right? So on the first OT, give it to him again. The step back 3 with 6 seconds left. Nails it, ties it up again. It sends it to double overtime. MJ missed 2 free throws, giving John Stockton a chance to force a third overtime.
Rebound, Karl Malone for Stockton. Stockton down the left side. Three-pointer. Good. John Stockton.
The Jazz to get the basketball back. What some opportunities here. Big shot.
So we go to a third overtime. In that third OT, Michael Jordan ties the game at 123 with the jumper. In true Jerry Sloan fashion, no timeout. They run it back the other way. Jeff Malone is fouled by Jordan with the second left. Mike is furious. He gets tossed. Jazz make free throws. They win it. Phil Jackson, he didn't hold back.
Whatever he said, the referee deserved it because you don't make foul calls like that at the end of an NBA game. People know it. It's a desperation drive. You know, I don't even know how much he got him, but you just don't make those calls.
From midcourt, Jordan, a 50-footer, he made it. Michael Jordan.
We're just warming up. When we come back, a tight contest in Salt Lake City in 1993. Then Jordan returns to Utah after a 2-year hiatus.
SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garff. We hear you.
While we all wait for the NBA season to resume, we're taking time to remember some great playoff moments from the past with the Utah Jazz. And Karl Malone was involved in so many.
Yeah, he was. The Jazz never missed a playoff with the mailman on the roster. It was a playoff series back in 1988 against the Showtime Lakers that really launched Karl into superstardom.
The Jazz were big underdogs against the defending NBA champs, which is why what the Jazz did in Game 2 was so stunning. They went into the Forum and stole Game 2. Karl Malone, 29 points and 10 rebounds. Speaking of steals, John Stockton, 19 points, 13 assists. Thurl Bailey, 20 off the bench. Mark Ivoroni made some big shots, and Big Mark blocked shots. 7 of them by Mark Eaton, including Kareem and Magic. They broke a 14-game losing streak at the Forum and tied the series with a 101-97 win, a series that saw the Jazz take the Showtime Lakers to 7 games in their prime.
One of the great playoff series in Jazz history began on this day in 1994. Game 1 of the conference semis against the Denver Nuggets. Much like the rest of the series, Game 1 was physical. Malone gets a little shove, but still flips it home. Dikembe Mutombo, he was a presence, led the Nuggets with 20 points in the game, but the Jazz still had a 9-point lead at the half. In the second half, like a freight train, the mailman down the lane with 2 hands. He finished the game with 25 points. David Benoit was a big contributor off the bench, gets the block at one end, and he dunks at the other end. The Jazz got the win in Game 1, 100-91.
1997 Western Conference semifinals. The Jazz get crushed by the Lakers in Game 3 by 20 points. Karl Malone went 2 for 20. You knew that wasn't going to happen again. The mailman delivered in Game 4. In LA, Karl with 29 points and 10 rebounds. John Stockton had a double-double. Knocked down this 3. And the Jazz also got a boost from Brian Russell. He had 29 points and 10 rebounds, 4 of 9 from the 3-point line. And the Jazz took a 3-1 series lead after a 110-95 win.
On May 10th in 1998, after making just 6 field goals in Game 3 of their conference semifinals against the Spurs, Karl Malone made 17 shots in Game 4, led all scorers with 34 points. He also had a game-high 12 rebounds. Greg Ostertag played just 15 minutes off the bench, but he had 3 blocks, including one against David Robinson. The Jazz won that game 82-73 to take a 3-1 series lead. Well, when the Bulls first matched up against the Jazz in the 92-93 season, Karl Malone matched Michael Jordan point for point in a tight contest at the Delta Center. The one on February 1st, 1993 is the one I'm talking about. The Jazz were up 8 in the final seconds of the half when this happened.
A 50-footer he made it. Michael Jordan. Oh, what a shot.
Yeah, I tell you.
I mean, that was a shot. That was not a throw. He actually shot that ball just across midcourt.
Jazz led 45-40 at the break. Karl Malone kept the Jazz rolling in the third quarter. He was 14 of 18 from the field for a game-high 40 points. The Jazz were up by 15 going into the fourth. Enter his Airnish Jordan with the crossover and the jumper. And then how about the drive and a little kiss off the glass for 2 more. You know, Jeff Malone was the victim of a crossover a couple of times, and he crosses him up again here for another long jumper. Jordan finished with 37 points. Under a minute to go in the game, and the Jazz are now trailing. John Stockton, though, nails the three-pointer. 20 seconds later, a chance to tie it up. Ty Corbin misses the layup. The Bulls outscore the Jazz by 19 in the fourth, and the Jazz lose by 4.
We facilitated the comeback, and of course they hit great shots. Jordan went crazy, and that's what happens.
Second time the Jazz and Bulls met that season was in Chicago on Michael Jordan's birthday. Jazz trying to beat Jordan in the United Center. Scottie Pippen steals it. MJ. The acrobatic finish. But David Benoit, one of the best dunkers as well, puts it down. 14 for him. Michael Jordan, man, was he a complete player or what? From the parking lot, as Hot Rod would say. Scottie Pippen. He can dunk too. Ooh, 14 points for Pip. The mailman led the team with 20. But Jordan puts down the alley-oop. Finishes the game high 27 points. The Bulls beat the Jazz by 18. We know the story here. Jordan didn't play in '94, mourning the tragic death of his father. He went and played baseball with the Chicago White Sox and the Birmingham Barons. When he returned in late '95, the Jazz had already played the Bulls twice, so they went 2 seasons without meeting up on the court. The next meeting was on November 24th, 1995, and Jordan picked up right where he left off the last time the Jazz played. First time wearing those black uniforms against the Jazz, and Jordan scorched them. He also pulled down 8 boards and dished out 6 assists. Jazz offense was a bit sluggish. John Stockton driving for 2 and draws the foul from Jordan. Then he hits the 3. He had 23 points, but this was Jordan's night in Salt Lake City, a game-high 34 in a 90-85 Jazz loss. A month later, 2 nights before Christmas, there was a new face on the Bulls, Dennis Rodman. Picked up in a trade. This game was also all Chicago. Only 4 players scored in double figures. Jordan, Pippen, Malone, and Stockton. But Jordan and Pippen combined for 58, while Stockton and Malone combined for just 32. It was a 186 loss of the Bulls as Chicago improved to 23-2 with that win.
It was a rough night for me as well. Well, from great NFL teams to great college teams, members of the 2004 undefeated Utah football team joined KSL Sports this week to talk about that amazing season. They also praised the comeback of one of their teammates, quarterback Alex Smith, who's been in the spotlight a lot lately for his remarkable recovery from a severe leg injury that even threatened his life.
It just shows what type of person he is mentally. I mean, because 90%, 95% of all people in the world, if they had that injury, they don't want anything to do with football ever again. You know, they'll curse football. They'll say it ruined their lives. But this guy, he's still trying to play this game, which shows a lot of determination, and it shows you what type of character he has and what type of fight he has. And I wish him all the best. I'm glad it's not me, because if I had the injury.
You can see that entire special on our YouTube channel. All right, Mother's Day is a special day for all of us, a chance to celebrate and honor the love and sacrifice that comes with the most important job in the world. For BYU wide receiver Dax Milne, this Mother's Day has special meaning. He joined Mitch Harper on Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL News Radio to share the story of his mother, Jill, and her battle with stage 4 colon cancer.
Cougar Tracks podcast here on KSLSports.com and KSL News Radio. Your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. Mitch Harper here. Excited to welcome in my next guest here on the program. He's junior wide receiver Dax Milne. Dax, I wanted to have you on the show today in honor of Mother's Day to spotlight your mom, Jill. When you were arriving at BYU, I know she was going through as tough of a battle as a person can go up against, trying to tackle stage 4 cancer.
I'll probably just start with the night she told my family. She sat me down and said, Dax, I just went to the doctor and I was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. I was kind of in shock, couldn't really believe it. Originally she had surgery on her colon, then it spread to her liver, and then it ended up spreading to her lungs. I always kind of had a feeling that it would all work out, and fast forward to now, it's worked out so far. Her latest scans have come back clean and everything, so hoping it'll continue like that. One of the amazing things about people that survive through cancers, it seems like they have just a great demeanor through it all, and I could just tell that anyone with relationship with their moms, usually it's a pretty strong one. Well, what was your mom's demeanor like throughout all of that, and trying to navigate those difficult circumstances? I don't think I can say enough about my mom and the way that she handled this whole situation. I think people that do know my mom would agree with me in that even when she was, recovering from surgery after surgery, she was always worried about other people's feelings, other people's happiness, always making sure my family was taken care of. And she just, honestly, she's amazing. And I know the cards could have been dealt a different way, and she might have not been with me today. It means a lot that I'm able to share these Mother's Days with her and just treat her like the great woman she is.
Great story. Thanks for sharing that, Dax. Well, when's the last time you benched 335 pounds? Coming up next, we're going to show you the best video of the week. You don't want to miss this. Time now for our play of the day. This here is Garrett Alcaraz, a senior at Tehachapi High School in California. Garrett, he has Down syndrome, but he doesn't let that stop him from reaching the top of the record boards. Sets the school record with a 355-pound bench press. Come on.
Good for him. On May 8th, 1980, the Salt Lake Golden Eagles hosted Game 7 of the Adams Cup Finals in the Old Central Hockey League. Their opponent, the Fort Worth Texans, led by Doug Palazzari. The Golden Eagles skated off the ice that night with the Adams Cup, one of 5 championships the Golden Eagles won in the 70s and 80s 40-year anniversary. We'll be right back.
The Hallowed Grounds, brought to you by Siegfried & Jensen.
Nice shot, Gina. Welcome in to this week's episode of the Hallowed Grounds. We're changing things up, right? Now, there are reasons behind that. We can get into it in a minute, but we're on the chipping green here at the Ogden Golf and Country Club. Big thank you to, of course, Nate Wade Subaru, right here in my Nate Wade Subaru. Go check them out. Great deals going on during these difficult times. Gina Barberi, everybody. Did I say the last name correctly?
You did. Thank you for not saying Barbieri, because I get that a lot.
Hold on, Barbieri?
Yeah, it's not that, but I get that a lot.
Right, you know her. Her voice is very familiar. X96, of course, Radio from Hell, been going on, well, with her, 24 years. So first of all, congratulations on a remarkable career.
Thank you.
You guys, and I'm not trying to age you on purpose, I promise. But you guys will be celebrating your 75th, 100th, so 7,500th episode in September of this year.
Yes, that's a lot.
Do you have anything in store?
Well, we were planning a big thing, and like everything now, I think people are wondering if we're going to be able to do the big thing. We were going to do a big party and invite listeners. We've had listeners that whole time, 24-year listening. Well, for me and Carrie and Bill are even longer than that.
Right.
And there are people that have listened to us that whole time, and then their kids now listen. I can't swear. How do you have a golf show on KSL where you can't swear?
Well, that's part of the challenge, you know? Like, you remember Britton Covey, right? You know
Yes.
Britton Covey. Anyway, we had him golfing last year, and he said, what did he say, Nate? Freak?
Fetch.
Fetch. He said fetch.
Fetch. That's a Utah swear.
Yeah, he said fetch.
See?
That's all right. I mean, it's just, that was a great practice swing, Gina.
Don't patronize me.
Sorry. Your kid's name's Muhammad?
So they have radio names.
Muhammad
and Jonesy and Festus. None of their real names.
Muhammad, Jonesy, and Festus?
Yes.
With all due respect, Gina, Festus sounds like fetus.
It'll autocorrect as fetus if you try to type it.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if I were to rename Freddie, then it would be something like Howard, Walter.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah. You give him like a nickname like Scooter or...
See, he's got a nickname already.
What's his nickname?
Bubbles.
Bubbles. Does he blow bubbles?
He does, and my grandfather, who happened to pass away before I was born, his nickname was Bubbles.
See, that's perfect. Just call him Bubbles. He'll be the only one in his class. It'll never be like Bubbles H and Bubbles S.
Uh-huh. Oh, dearie me.
I almost hit the camera. I actually did that on purpose.
Did you? That makes for great television.
I have to say, watching the draft, just hearing that crowd in the background coming from the TV, you know that sound?
It's nice.
I didn't realize how much I just missed that sound.
It's nostalgic.
And even just the little clips they were showing of people as, you know, they were explaining who was being drafted next and little clips of them playing. Like, that's as much football as we've had. It was...
That's nice.
It was nice.
Yeah. By the way, we have a new sponsor that I need to give a shout out to. Heber Valley Golf up there in the Wasatch Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give us a bunch of free rounds of golf that I can give to you, and you can take Festus, Fetus, Muhammad, and Genesis out, and it'll be a blast, I promise. But thank you for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to see you guys soon. Congratulations. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the 7,500th episode that'll air in September.
Thank you, and happy Mother's Day to your wife.
Thank you. Gina Barberi, Booski, everybody. Welcome into this week's Pro Tip of the Week at the Ogden Golf and Country Club. Very fortunate to have Scott Erling with us, the Director of Golf up there at Weber State, go Wildcats, and as well as the head coach of the men's team. So, Scott, we're going to work on some chipping. How important is it to end the shot with all the weight on, if you're a right-handed golfer, your left leg?
You know, I think you want more weight on your left leg, but not too much, because if you get too much over there, you're going to have a tendency to be a lot steeper. The club's going to want to dig into the ground a little bit more. I usually think about it, you know, 60-40, 55-45. So you want a little bit left, but not a lot left. And again, you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we want our weight to be consistent. We don't want to be way over here one time, way back here another time. Just get over it, be consistent. Think about the bottom point of your swing always being the same.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I work at UNT Golf, and I'm one of the shoe experts here. We're going to kind of go over basically what we have here in our stores. We have great options for everybody, every type of golfer, every level of experience. We have high-end shoes that are great for waterproofing. This is probably the biggest decision golfers make when they come in to buy golf shoes, whether they want to go with more of a spikeless casual shoe or more of a traditional replaceable spike shoe. We definitely have a wide range of options.